All right, some stuff about the United States and economics. Everything we've learned so far, let's evaluate, kind of how things maybe sort of work in the United States. Once again, there's going to be detractors that say I'm crazy. Just go along with this stuff, whatever. You get to have your own opinion, as I always say. But some basic facts about the United States. We do happen to live in a country located on a continent full of resources, and we have a long tradition of social, political, and economic freedom and independence that resulted in the so-called land of opportunity. For the most part, our government tries to allow individuals to operate businesses in a way they think will maximize their profits, but we will not let businesses harm people. I don't really want to live in the United States without a Food and Drug Administration, protecting us from unsafe products and stuff. But at the same time, I'm kind of a free market guy. I think the government meddles too much. You're going to have to figure out in your life how much government interference you want and how little you want them in there. But for the most part, we've always recognized that competition and rivalry is good, and it usually offers lower costs. You got to understand, some places in the world, they're not open to change. They're not open to new ideas, and that impacts things. We have these constitutional protections. I always talk about how all wars are economic, and people get upset about that. And come talk to me if you want to hear my opinions on these things. But I say economics are always the key underlining thing to everything. The people that came over here, they could become landowners and export tobacco and stuff. Sure, they may have come over for religious freedom, and that may have been a factor of it. But economics was a big deal. And our founding fathers, I mean, they got ticked off about some economic issues, taxation, seizure of property, stuff like that. So the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, these are constitutional protections that are loaded full of economics. Property rights. You should not be able to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So if you had low-lying land next to a river and a city developed, and they need to dam up that river and create a lake for a water source, they could take your land from you, but it's not like the king can just say your land is forfeit. They have to compensate you, and you may willingly, work with them, or you may fight them, but at the end, they can't not just take it and give you nothing. And it should be something at the end of the day that belongs to the people, like a lake would belong to the people. The red alert issue is these things like eminent domain and stuff are now being used to create things like the Dallas Cowboy football stadium. Should the Texas Arlington's government been able to take people's properties to build a football stadium that at the end of the day belonged to Jerry Jones? I mean, go Cowboys! I'm a Cowboys fan, but I always thought this was kind of a thing. Also, in 1868, after the Civil War, they realized there was a problem with states, the Reconstruction period and stuff, taking property. So it was extended to protect you from state governments, and corporations have these same rights. We do allow for taxation, but we have rules, and they had to be followed. And Article 1 dealt with this. And taxation used to be based on population, but the 16th Amendment of 1913 changed it to income tax. In a future unit, we will get into more detail about taxation. We wanted to protect the right of people in business to have contracts. And an agreement is an agreement, and the only way out of an agreement is if you can prove that the other side deceived you, there was a deceit thing, or you can breach it by one side not following through with what they promised to do. But you guys know that if you sign a deal for a car, you're going to make X amount of payments over a period of time, and you don't make those, the car can be taken away from you. The legal system comes in. A deal is a deal. And the government will try to prevent people from getting into bad deals, but if they pass a law dealing with bad deals, they might prevent people from getting into those situations in the future. But if you got in a bad deal before they got involved, just because they pass a law to stop people from getting involved in that in the future, it doesn't retroactively go back and change anything in the past. Like if I told you I'd give you a credit card with a 200% interest rate, none of you would take that. But if I didn't lie to you and I didn't deceive you and I told you it's a 200% interest rate, someone signed up for it and then realized after the fact, oh, this is really a ripoff and I can't afford this. Laws might be passed we have laws actually controlling interest rates and stuff. Laws will be passed to keep people from getting into bad deals like that in the future. The government will regulate interest rates, but the government cannot shred that agreement you and I had. They can stop people from getting into bad deals like that with crazy interest rates, but if you signed it, I didn't lie to you, you knew what you're getting into, a deal's a deal, and they can't retroactively change these deals. We recognize profit motives. We have a can-do attitude, and we want people to make money. We want businesses to succeed. We love the so-called American success stories, which the profit motive is part of. And that's very Smith, recognizing that you want to make money to improve your life. We like open opportunity. Now, yes, the United States has had problems in its history. We had slavery. Women couldn't vote at one time. We gave a lot of lip service to stuff, and sometimes we didn't fully implement it. But for the most part, open opportunity. Everyone should be able to compete in the marketplace. Your potential for success should be unlimited, but so can your potential for failure. We like success stories, we like fail stories, but is it a good thing that you can argue in today's world we have risk-free environments? I run a business, I get in trouble, screw it up, the government will save me. But if my crazy ideas work out, I make a profit. Should that be what's going on? Should people save businesses from bad decisions? But whatever, open opportunity, equity, we all are equal and have the same rights. We didn't like that system of landed gentry and nobles having more rights and privileges. No nobles. We wanted everyone equal under the law. Yes, we had slavery and problems with it. Because things happen in American history. Like at one time before the Civil Rights Movement, if you had a black bar owner and a white bar owner, one might get a better deal on liquor and food and stuff simply because of racism stuff. But we try to make things better. I think the United States gets better all the time. Will we ever be perfect? I don't know if that's possible, but we try to do this stuff, but sometimes we failed at it in our history. We want consumers to make their desires known by what they buy. That's the big deal. If the people are buying iPhones, that means Apple is doing something right. And if they choose to buy an Android, Apple should pay attention to that, and Android makers should be happy because they've made something that someone else said, I like this better than this product. It's about choice. We want the government to protect us for the most part. I want the government out as much as possible. At the same time, though, I'm a fan of the Food and Drug Administration. We want public disclosure laws. We want to be protected from bad things and dangerous things and all that kind of stuff. But always remember this stuff in red. Overregulation and abused regulation will stifle competition, and some people want to go too far with this stuff. I am no fan of Mr. Bloomberg in New York saying large sodas should be outlawed because Americans can't handle what they purchase and drink and all that stuff. You don't know what I'm talking about? Look it up. It's an interesting battle. We want to promote growth and stability. Economists do this in the private and public sector. So, just be aware of that. And this is where this is going to stop. Make sure you read through this stuff and you are good to go when it comes to the test time.